Have you ever had it where you're working on a recoil and this happens? It does happen from time to time, but I'm going to show you how to rewind them and also how to avoid it happening in the future. Let's really quickly cover why the springs pop out, and it's very simple. It's because they're still under tension. If I put tension on this spring now, and then I begin to take this apart, you'll see if I go too far, eventually the spring will pop out. However, if I release that tension now, all the way off, and I repeat that same process, you can take that spring out, you'll see that there's no tension on the spring and the spring's still captive inside its housing. So whenever you're working on a recoil, always make sure that you fully unwind that rope, allow the spring to uncoil before you start doing anything further. And that will avoid these springs popping out. So how do we get these back in though when they do fly out and we end up with a massive coiled spring? It's actually really easy. My favorite method is to actually have a couple of nails in the table. We start with the tab on the outside, put it between the two nails and all the way down. Take yourself your drill and then open up the jaws to around about 1/4 of an inch. We go in the tightening direction, place our hand on top of the spring, and we want the jaws to be contacting the innermost part of the spring, and then very carefully we're going to wind this spring in. Go all the way in, nice and snug, and then we're going to go out about a turn or two just so I can release the chuck jaws from the spring. Pull that out, hold it down with your finger, clamp it with your vice grips, and there we have the spring in place and wound up. Now, you have to be quite quick because if you aren't, the spring can start to slowly undo again. But as you can see, there was ample time. Then if we're going to place this back in the dish, we can do, or if we're going to place it inside a starter like a Briggs, for example, that's quite deep, it's very easy and you have good access. Place the spring in. Make sure we have this in place here, like so. And then we just gently open up those jaws. Put that back in its position, unfurl the spring, and there we have the spring back in position. And if this center part is a little bit bent, then we can just carefully open it back out to how it was, and you won't have any issues whatsoever. There we go. So there's really nothing more to it. A couple of nails, put the spring in, tighten it up with a drill, hold it in place with your fingers, be fairly quick, get your vice grips on it, and then you can slip it straight in. You're not going to have this spring shooting out or going anywhere. It's a quick and easy method, and I hope it helps you with recoiling your springs at home. Till next time, I'll catch you soon.